Hey there, how y'all doing? This is Mr. and Mrs. Data out on trail at Starved Rock by the Spillway and the Locks on Earth Day 2025. Some fellas beat us to it out there fishing. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. We've hiked a couple of miles. Not much but us and the birds out so far today. But our goal for the day is 10 miles out and back, hiking the entire eastern 3/4 or so of the trails at Starved Rock. And this video is shot from a spot they call Lover's Leap, I think. So we're a couple of miles into the hike on the eastern part of the trail along the river, and we've come upon a whole little valley. I don't know what particular canyon this is up here, but down here on the floor of the canyon you have like an entire floor covered with Virginia bluebells and some little white flowers and some little yellow flowers. And this might be as big a collection of Virginia bluebells in the wild as I remember seeing here at Starved Rock. And they're not quite in full bloom, but I think you'll be able to see them. They run, I don't know, 100 yards this direction and then clear up this valley. And I know they're called Virginia bluebells, but I think that they are native to the whole eastern part of the U.S. I even have some of them in my yard back in the western suburbs. Bloom in really heavily shaded areas really early in the spring, and if you live in the eastern part of the U.S. and you can get some of these started, which can be a little challenging, I would encourage it. Especially, you can see them here, they're also tucked in among May apples, some little white flowers and some little yellow flowers, so they make a nice naturalized kind of woodland set of flowers for a shaded area in one's yard or in the state park like they are here. Okay, so we're about 3 miles into our hike, or 4. You might hear the sound of rushing water off in the distance. We're coming along Hennepin Canyon right now, probably 10 o'clock in the morning. Probably hear the water from its waterfall. Such a really nice canyon walk here, right along the rim. And on one of my videos from one of my winter training hikes, I came through the same canyon when it was all frozen up. So this is the park that is a little bit like the Appalachian Trail, and it gets a little bit rooty and rocky. And since I'm hiking without my poles right now, be a little careful there. Like the other stuff I've been filming on this trip, the water is running fiercely. Years ago they'd come through and poured concrete on part of this embankment just to keep this trail in place. And there's a road right up above us. Actually, you can see the wall. It is the edge of the road. And then right down here, we have quite the little waterfall down into this canyon. See if I can get that on film. Hard to tell if I'm capturing that or not. There we go. For some reason they don't have a trail up into Hennepin on the ground level, which is a shame because it's a really nice canyon. So a couple of small blowdowns here in Starved Rock State Park. We're about probably 4 miles in now or so. We got about a mile or a mile and a half left to the end of the box canyon that's named Illinois Canyon. Trail's been in pretty good shape today. We saw one guy out on a run on the trail, but that's it. There have been some wet spots like this one I'm stepping over where I had to watch footing. But it's early enough that we have nice views of the river and the edge of the river. And Mrs. Data is taking the lead here. They're ahead, which has really actually helped me because I get to look around and enjoy scenery and just follow her lead across the various little wet spots. There's still some improvements, but once you get this far east away from the lodge at Starved Rock, the trail gets a little more rugged. Not really rugged. You can see it's still 2 or 3 feet wide and worn down, but there's nothing, none of it's paved, and there are very few boardwalks. There are some nice views out here onto the edge of the river, though. It's really nice. And it feels more like a natural woodland. I think maybe especially because it's springtime. All these little white and purple flowers that are in bloom all over the place. Plus the Virginia bluebells and May apples. They've laid the trail in this part, not down on the river and not up on the ridge line. Clear this blowdown. But kind of halfway up the hillside, so it's a little drier than it would be down along the river. But you have better views than you would up in the middle of the woods on top of the ridge. You just have to negotiate your way around the roots and trees. Which again, feels like a nice Midwestern woodland like part of the AT does. There aren't rigorous climbs, but you can see coming up there are ascents that are, 25 or 50 feet up. So now Mrs. Data and I are back in.
Water and sunshine, so maybe we'll see a snake.
Yes, we're looking for snaky snakes today. This is the Illinois Canyon. We're kind of toward the end of it. As you can see, it's a pretty steep canyon walls. I'll film a little bit more of it on the way out.
Is this the Illinois Canyon?
This is the Illinois Canyon. It's the kind of the eastern edge of Starved Rock State Park. So at this point, Mrs. Data and I have hiked about, I'm going to go this way. We've hiked about 4.5 miles now, maybe 5. So this is our turnaround point, and I'm going to suggest that she and I take a little break here at the bottom of this canyon. But this is always Like I said, I don't think I've ever been in this canyon before early in the morning when the eastern sunlight is lighting up just one wall of it. So I think I'm gonna, at the minimum, I'm gonna collect some water here and filter it because we drank most of the water I brought with us. And then I think the next thing we'll do after we break for a minute is on the other side of the creek. There's a trail you might see in through there. It goes to a little side canyon. So I think we'll hike down that next. Well, we crossed this, and now it's kind of feeling like we may need to cross back if we want to get all the way back up in there.
Yeah, I might just take a seat and rest right here.
Okay, I might try to walk back up in there a little bit. As far as I can without crossing over, just because it's kind of a view. I've never been in this canyon before. That's quite a canyon wall. I don't even know the name of this one. I'll have to look that up and add that in the comments here. You can see that waterfall off in the distance. There's a path over there, but it's a little hard to get to from where we are. So I think you might be right, Mrs. Data. I think this might be as far as we need to go down this path today, but I think it's funny that we've hiked here for years and years and we've never come back in this canyon at all. This time we got drawn in here because the waterfall was so boisterous you could hear it from the other canyon. This canyon splits off to the west of the Illinois Canyon. And like the Illinois Canyon, it's deep. All sandstone, and it's got so much water in it today it's dripping down off the sides. So I think I'm going to join Mrs. Data here for a quick little sit down break. Not shoes off or anything, just sit down, and then we'll be on our way back to the car, to the truck. So we hiked up the west side of Illinois Canyon, and we're in a thing. This looks like a meeting place. I'll look it up after we get off trail. I think this might be called Council Bluff or something. So it's obviously a human constructed stack of stones with a little pedestal kind of a thing, and then there's a large open chamber. That's Mrs. Data over there. You can see there's a huge cavernous chamber. Extends clear out over our heads. And there's an echo to it. It's quite deep. It's clear back in there. So I don't know if this is a place where some First Peoples had some sort of meetings or not, or it's been constructed since then. But I'm going to look that up because it has the feeling of a Native American meeting place, a gathering place of some sort, just because that's kind of a little stage that's been set up. And it's hard to really get the scope of this, the scale of this thing captured on a video, but I'll walk through it. You can kind of see where Mrs. Data is over on the other side of it. It is quite large. And if you were up on that podium behind me, you could easily imagine hundreds of people sitting in here and listening to one pontificate or make decisions or have discussions about decisions. So, yeah. I'll try to learn a little bit more about this and post it in the comments on this part of this video. That's a little stage, as it were, that I was up next to. Anyway, interesting things you find on the trail. I think we'll head out now.